Good morning, leaders. How you doing? Welcome to Monday Morning Leadership Huddle. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. This is where I provide you with tips and tools to drive your leadership purpose. What's going on, family? How you doing? Good morning. It's good to be back. I've been off about 2 weeks, and within the 2 weeks, I've been just trying to unplug. Had opportunity to travel with my wife and some other friends. And if you're new to the podcast, or you new to following me, each year, my wife and I we travel with a group of couples, which we've been traveling now for wow for 6 years. And it's a wonderful time just to kind of sit back, relax, kind of have adult conversations with other adults, and just have an opportunity to kind of love on each other. Had an opportunity to just kind of spend time with my wife, kind of rekindle the flame, and continue to make sure that the flame continues to stay hot. And it's just a wonderful time to experience you know life with some good people, and we call it love, laughter, and fellowship. You can follow us on IG at Love, Laughter, and Fellowship. But again, just had an opportunity to do that. So I was relaxing and in St. Martin. And the food was amazing. So highly recommend. If you haven't been to St. Martin, if you are a foodie, you're gonna love it. From my understanding, it is called the culinary capital of the Caribbean. So you have a mixed culture from French to Dutch to Caribbean. So it's just a wonderful way to just kind of immerse yourself into culture. But while I was there, family, I had an opportunity to just kind of jot down some thoughts around unplugging and really jot down some thoughts around resting. Again, if you're familiar with the podcast, rest has been something that I talk about quite often. Actually, the last episode with Gregory Hall, the author of Rethink Rest, had a wonderful conversation about how we should rethink about Sabbath rest. Definitely go check that out. That was episode 129. And so, again, this is not nothing that is new to the podcast, nothing new that I don't talk about from time to time. Another episode you can go look at about rest was episode 91, the lifestyle leadership guide, the leader's guide to a lifestyle of rest, where I provided my thoughts on how I'm practicing rest and how, as leaders, we should incorporate rest within our regimen, in within um, our healthy into our mental, our healthy practice. So that's another opportunity if you want to go back and just kind of hear some previous thoughts around rest. And in this one here, I want to look at it as I continue to evolve my thoughts. I continue to think about practicing rest, and how, as leaders, we can do it, and what certain things that we need to do, or what certain things we can do every day that helps us to enter a restful state, that helps us to restore our soul, that helps us to replenish ourselves. Because again, as we all know, to be an effective leader, to drive change, to drive the results that we're looking for, we have to take time to restore ourselves. We have to take time to refuel ourselves, especially as servant leaders. We pour out, we pour out, we pour out, we pour out, and we really don't take time. We don't take the necessary time to have ourselves refuel, to allow people to pour into us, to do things that's going to restore us, that's going to refreshen us, so we can get back to our work, to our calling, and do it in a more effective way. So, what I want to provide to you, it's just, I guess, I don't know if these are four ways to practice rest, are just things that I have noticed that when I do it, I'm able to engage in rest. I'm able to then switch myself to shift my mental, my mindset into a mindset of rest, into entering a state of restfulness. So I think the one thing that we can all do that can help us to really practice rest is taking a moment to reflect. Reflecting has been one of the biggest powerful tools for myself. I really want to, when I think about when I started practicing it, it was when I was on the most challenging role, experiencing the most challenging role of my career. And had a great manager that really helped me say, hey, take a moment to practice reflection. And he pretty much taught me a way to do it on a daily basis or weekly basis. And it's pretty much, writing down three things that went well and three things that didn't go so well. And you can do this on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And it allows you to really reflect on what went well, what didn't go so well. And that of itself really helps you to now pause. This is all like rest. And sometimes as leaders, it's just taking a moment. Let's pause and let's recalibrate. This is all we're doing. We recalibrating, right? So it takes when we reflect, we take it a moment. It helps us to pause, recalibrate, you know, and it helps us to kind of think about it, you know, holistically, objectively, you know, remove our emotions from it. And reflecting has been one of the most powerful tools, as I said, that has helped me to practice rest, to allow rest to be a lifestyle. Okay. So as I was thinking on the beach on Saint Martin, just kind of think about like how do we continue to make rest a lifestyle? What is some of the steps we can do? Number one, we can reflect. We can really practice reflection as a way to help us rest. Okay. The second thing I think that helps us to practice rest is experiencing new things, experiencing new things. And traveling has been one of the things that has helped me to enter the state of rest through my experience, through the ability to experience new things, because it allows me to see things from a different perspective. It opens up my creativity, you know, it allows me to learn, and that's at times you may not know what helps you to get to a restful state, but it's amazing when you can find these little things, experiencing new things, right? When you can find little things that helps you to really drive or really helps you to shift your mindset into a restful state. And experiencing new things, it just again is broaden your horizon. It helps you to broaden your focus, helps you to look at it from a bigger picture. And when we're experiencing things that we're not familiar with, when we're experiencing new culture, we're experiencing new perspectives, it helps us to kind of take away our thoughts, helps us to remove ourselves from whatever stressors that we may be feeling. And it helps us to kind of now look at things from a different perspective, allows us to find that appreciation and gratitude in something new. Okay. So experiencing new things helps you to practice rest. That's one thing has helped me. Okay. And again, as I go over these things, yeah, they are kind of personal, but I believe they can also help anyone out. Okay. This third thing that has helped me to practice rest is embracing my space for creativity. Now, when I think about that, and as I was kind of pondering on that thought when I was in Saint Martin, it is really taking the initiative. This is where again, when we're practicing rest, many times we have to be very intentional about really resting. you know we have to be intentional about unplugging ourselves. We can't wait until a something occurs. We can't wait until um something bad occurs, or we can't wait until we now are reaching burnout. We have to be intentional. And that's what I mean by embracing your space for creativity, whatever that space is. And embracing it in my the way I'm thinking about it is your intentionality around it. Meaning that, hey, you may need to schedule time to meditate. That's embracing your space for creativity. That's how I view it. You may have to have accountability partner, someone that helps you to, remind you, hey, how's your soul? Someone that helps you to level set, someone that helps you to kind of ease and kind of helps you to shift into releasing, into removing the stressor. I recently s- started working with a mental health coach, and so far so good. I mean, this is really in the early stage, but it kind of helped me as I was talking with them. I noticed and really started to really say, okay, I need this in my life. I'm never going to be at a place where, and I don't think no one is ever going to be at a place where I am just mentally and healthy. Well, my well-being is on a 10. No, no. I need people that can be my accountability partner, that's going to help me to embrace that space for creativity. And when I think about, again, that space for creativity, that space where you can allow your thoughts to just run free. You can just allow your thoughts to run free. I heard this saying, and I was listening to a sermon on social Dallas, and the preacher said that, anxiety is simply just proof that you are creative. I was like, what? He said, anxiety is the proof that you are creative, because when you are experiencing anxiety, you're just creating all these different scenarios in your head, right? And the creativity that we have with our imagination, the creativity that we have that God has given us with our imagination, with our thoughts, we can use that for our good. And when we do it in a very healthy way, in a way that allows us to embrace it, allow us to really manage through it, then it becomes very healthy. It becomes reinforcement to help us to continue to live out this positive approach. Help us to release these thoughts. So embracing your creative space is really being intentional about what things are your creativity, how you are showing up for yourself, how you are scheduling, or how you've been intentional about your rest, about your rest. Embrace your creativity. The last thing that, as I was pondering and just thinking about, of how to practice rest as leaders, and it's kind of very similar to embracing your creativity, but it's a little spin on it, and it is, do the things that brings you joy. Do the things that brings you joy. Make time to do the things that brings you joy. One of the things that brings me joy, family, is, and as funny as it may be, is doing these Monday morning leadership huddles. As I think about the other end, or those on the other end receiving it, you know, all I can think about the joy of getting out information, and those that on the other end that will receive it and apply it to their life. That's the joy. Another thing that brings me joy is just taking walks, going on hikes with my family, finding new trails. you know Another thing that brings me joy is food. As I was in St. Martin eating, I was eating. Yeah, the inner fat boy was there. You know what I'm saying? I gained some pounds, family, because I was eating chocolate croissants and French bread and eating jerk chicken and eating some honey glazed lamb. Oh yeah, your boy went in. But food brings me joy. Spending time with my wife. We stumble upon a beach that we didn't know that was very close to our villa. And we took a walk there and just kind of spending time with her and just, you know, not even talking, but just kind of being in each other and being in that present moment with her and just kind of taking it all in. Those are the things that brings me joy. And many times I have to be just like embracing my space for creativity. I have to be very intentional about making time to do the things that brings me joy. Making time to do the things that brings me joy. Because that of itself is going to allow me to embrace rest. It's going to allow me to embrace unplugging, right? It's going to allow me to become rejuvenated. It's going to allow me to become refreshed, restored, so I can be a better leader. I could be a more effective leader at the home, uh, on my job, within my marriage, as a father, you know, as a citizen, as an entrepreneur. We have to rest. So, number one, let's reflect. Number two, let's experience new things. Number three, let's embrace our space for creativity. And number four, let's make time for the things that brings us joy. Okay. So with that said, family, let's always remember that leadership is not a title. It's a choice. And today I choose to rest. I choose to reflect. I choose to experience new things. I choose to embrace the creativity, my space for creativity. I choose to make time for the things that brings me joy. Till next time, family, be blessed. And don't forget to share this and like this and send this out to others. All right. Peace.